your interview with April and Ollie because I saw her crying.
But she wasn't crying
when she walked away. She was crying, and I love it. I've only watched season 8. Like I watched season 8 with Evil Dick and Danielle. That was the only season I've ever watched. But I was completely addicted to that season. Watched every minute of it. Big Brother After Dark, all of it. Completely addicted. Like season 8 was very difficult because, for one, you were like Dick was a very tough person because so many personal attacks, which is very hard to deal with. Now there were some personal attacks on my season, but people tried to play a little more like nice. I thought there was some niceness. There was a lot of fakeness, a lot of like, I'm gonna like you, I'm gonna be nice to you. But I don't know. I just thought the people in my season were really fake. And I thought after watching it all, after it's all said and done, I think Dan was a very strategic player, and he would be a very tough guy to beat.
Dan played the game.
Dan played the game very well. Everything he said and did, he thought about 2 steps ahead and played it out, which was really smart of him. He's a fucking good guy. And I was the absolute worst player ever. I went in the house thinking it was going to be fun in games, like playing around, getting to know people, and then, like hindsight 2020, I should have gone in with like game face on, and I fucking went in to like as a fucking chump. I went in there to like have a good time and get to know people and get to like them, which was like the experience. Right, I wanted the experience of it, which is not why you go in the house. You go in the house to play a game and win. It was 1 in 13 chance, and I went in there and I got caught up in these people are fun. I want to hang out with them and have a good time, and I immediately regret that decision. It was ridiculous. I totally lost my game, and I shouldn't have got in it.
So would you say that's your biggest mistake?
That was totally my biggest mistake. I was not focusing on the $500,000. I was focusing on, I want to get along with these people and have fun. Jerry got the furthest drug along of anybody I've ever seen. And I've said from day one, from the day I moved into the house, I said, you people are going to drag Jerry all the way to the end because you think he has no competition, which he really didn't. I mean, he won a couple, like he won a power veto and HOH, whatever, but he was totally just like, everyone's like, we're not going to vote Jerry out because he's worthless, and we can beat him anytime we want, which is what ended up happening. Memphis stabbed Keisha in the back.
Would you have kept Keisha?
I would have kept Keisha.
Why? On friendship or on game? What was the smarter move? What was the best game move?
Alright, so keeping Keisha would have been probably not the smarter move. Keeping Jerry was definitely the smarter move because there was no way he was going to make it through the endurance competition. No way. And he did exactly what they thought he was going to do. He did not make it through he did exactly what they wanted. But Keisha wasn't that smart. Like when it came right down to it, she could have been beaten easily in the memory or the intelligence part of it because every competition she was ever in that wasn't like endurance or, physical, she lost. Like she was horrible at it. Like Memphis is not like a very personable person. When you're around him, like he doesn't have much personality. There's not much to him, and he just coasted along. Like people just liked him because he wasn't really like mean. He wasn't really nice. He was just like right there in the middle, just sort of like in limbo.
Did Memphis have a good game?
No, Memphis had no game. No game. No game whatsoever. Memphis totally coasted along. When he finally got in tight with Dan, Dan pulled him all the way to the end, and he only has Dan to thank for where he got to. What the fuck are you doing? This is my diary room session. House guests. Do not discuss diary sessions with other house guests. I went into the room. Memphis was in the HOH room alone, and I went up to him. This is the week I was on the block. And I said, Memphis, I gave you that car. It was total we were tied, and I said, Memphis, you can have it. You got my back later in the game. And he told me, word for word, if I kept you in this game, it would be the stupidest thing I ever did. which fucking pissed me off because I gave him that damn car and then he had zero loyalty to me whatsoever.
And at least you would have had the $24,000 car.
At least. I'd have the car. Instead I walked out with nothing. If I could go back and do the game again, I would not give a shit about making friends. I would completely be more ruthless and mean and I would go back and I would have made a better alliance at the beginning. I would not make an alliance with Brian. I would not fucking talk to Brian again. I should have, when everyone hated Brian, I should have alienated myself from.
Shut up.
I should have alienated myself from Brian, went with the rest of the house, and worked that to my advantage somehow. Ooh, who is a better America's player, Dan or Eric?
You have to keep in mind, Eric had it the whole season.
Eric had it the whole season. He had it a lot harder. Dan only had 1 week, and he really didn't have shit to do. Like, he hardly had anything he had to do. That hug with Jesse, big deal.
But the whole vote. The whole vote. That's what got Eric cut. That's what got out of Eric. Dan.
I'm going to say Eric. I've got to say Eric was a better America's player just because he had to do it for so long, and he had so many things he had to do.
Eric only made 40 grand for the whole season.
40 and Dan got 20.
Dan made 20 for 1 week.
I mean, the one vote that Dan had to make against Jesse was a big deal, and he was really lucky that he made it past that vote without getting, you know, the chips fell in the right place after that vote. But, like, Eric had to do that how many fucking times?
The whole time?
Yeah.
And that's what got him caught up. That's what I kept saying. They heaped the votes and we called him out and tried to evict him. And
But you know, according to Jesse, it was only like 100 votes that swung it to vote Jesse.
Yeah, you saw that. That was a great house call, wasn't it?
Oh my god, dude, I watched that house calls with you and Jesse. I was like, how stupid is he? Like, both you and Gretchen are both like the most frustrating interview
this
ever.
Family and this family voting. And
Angie is a cunt.
Dude, there's millions of people that are fucking voting. It's not just this person's family and that person's family.
Brian's a cunt. What is this? It's diary room, people. Get the fuck out.
Everybody's got to see what they can. They're not allowed to. So I'm going to say thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Evil Dick.